Ethiopia is the second populous sub-Saharan country in Africa. According to the 2006 census data, the population of Ethiopia is over 82 million, 85% of which lives in rural areas, where the main economic sector is agriculture. How should be the contribution of agriculture for the economy of such a country where most of its population is agrarian? How is the living status of the farmers and pastoralists? Food self-sufficiency has been a big challenge for the country, despite the livelihood of 85% of its population is agriculture. The country suffers from recurrent drought due to shortage of rainfall. This gives wrong image of the country, although it's assumed to be the origin of human beings. However, currently, efforts are being made to improve the situation. There are certain, though not many, model farmers who strive to boost the agriculture sector. Above all, there are investors involved in the crop production and livestock management sectors. The number of investors has increased following the country's reform from command economy to free economy. This has resulted considerable improvement in the agro-industry development of the country. This film is produced to share the good and new practices on land reclamation and income generation by Ato Gaddisa Gobana. Ato Gaddisa Gobana is renowned by many people as a hard-working farmer. Who is Ato Gaddisa? How did he happen to be an agriculturalist? What are his contributions toward improving agricultural activities in Ethiopia? His rich experience as a teacher and a farmer can be a lesson to peasants, pastoralists, agricultural experts, and researchers in agriculture. It is for this reason that Sustainable Land Use Forum, or SLUF, an organization that broadly involves in agricultural information dissemination and experience sharing, is making the knowledge and experience of Ato Gaddisa transferred to many others. SLUF is a local NGO that's involved in capacity building activities in natural resources management. SLUF believes that the agricultural knowledge and experience of Ato Gaddisa can help to teach others if documented in audio-visual medium. Ato Gaddisa Gobana was born and raised in Dangoro Warada of Wallagga. He attended primary and secondary classes in Shambo and Ambo Comprehensive Secondary School respectively. Then he studied in Debre Brahan Teachers Training Institute. He got diploma in language from the Teachers Technical and Vocational School of the Addis Ababa University. After he has graduated from college, he served for 23 years and 6 months as a language instructor in Hosanna Secondary School and then as language and agriculture instructor in Ambo Secondary School. As an extracurricular activity, Ato Gaddisa used to work as a photographer for several years. He documented his own and his family's history in photographs taken by him. Ato Gaddisa is married and has children. After he has served as a teacher, he tried several times to get a scholarship abroad. He has passed entrance exams to several universities. However, he didn't succeed to go overseas due to a number of barriers. Ato Gaddisa continued his effort to fulfill his desire to study abroad, and finally he managed to study in America from 1986 to 1990 and received advanced diploma in agriculture. After graduation, he returned home to implement the knowledge he got in school. Based on the experience he got in managing a cow previously in 1975, he started animal husbandry with 20 cattle. Then he traveled to China to visit the agricultural technologies of the country and visited 14 states there. Ato Gaddisa committed himself and began to put every effort to implement what he learned in his visit abroad. He began his first intervention in agriculture in 1990 in an area called Qoraballa, which is located around Ambo. He owns a plot of land which is located in the backyard of his house, and it borders with the Ambo Agricultural Research Center. The area of his plot is 17.5 hectares, and he conducts integrated agricultural activities on it. The major activity he intervenes in basically focuses on dairy farm. He supplies milk and improved heifers to the people in Ambo and surroundings. He produces maize and various types of grasses in the same plot of land. Currently, the number of cows has increased from 20 to 65. The dairy is a modern one, and he is building additional barns to improve the dairy management. All the cows in the farm are 50 to 70% Holstein bred. In the Qoraballa integrated farm, apiculture is being conducted with 17 modern beehives. The beehives are placed considerably far from the cow barns. The diversity of plantations in the farm provides the bees with suitable environment. The average from each beehive is 40 kilograms good quality honey. Those who tasted the honey proved that it has good quality. In addition to the Ambo integrated agriculture, there is another farm area in Bakotbe Warada of West Shoa zone of the Oromia regional state, which is administered privately by Ato Gaddisa. The place is locally called Donno, and its area is 15 hectares. Ato Gaddisa began to work in this farm in 2000. The place was a swampy area and was highly exposed to flood attack. However, he converted the land so that it became suitable for cultivation. The major crops grown in Donno include maize and sorghum, and there are some vegetables. The farm is more suitable for mechanized farming than traditional plowing by animal traction. He describes that the farm is very suitable for maize production, and the average productivity is 70 to 90 quintals per hectare. He says he once has produced 96 quintals of maize per hectare. The farm area is developed with both rain-fed and irrigated agriculture. It's also suitable for rice and cotton production. Maize and sorghum are produced twice per annum. Every year, maize and sorghum are rotated with vegetables like tomato, onion and red pepper. Even though the area is suitable for production of fruit trees and vegetables, the farmers prefer to grow maize and sorghum only because the fruit trees are attacked by monkeys.
አንድ ሰው የሰራው 100% ሁሉ የሱ ነው ማለት አይቻልም።
Of course, it is hard to conclude that all the outcomes of one's effort belongs to oneself. Everyone will have its own share of the profit. The peasants have their share to take. Even the wild animals have their share to eat. The remaining is enough for me.
Ato Gaddisa's farm is guarded by security men, therefore there is no fear of attack by monkeys, and he grows whatever he wants. He believes that the other farmers may have some reasons for not growing vegetables.
The price of vegetables is high. The peasants don't dare to invest 1,000 birr to get 2,000 birr. Of course, this needs knowledge of the business. There are a lot of them who learned from me to produce vegetable. We can supply our products in Addis Ababa. We didn't used to do that.
Various types of trees like corch or Erythrina abyssinica, gravilia, sespania, acacia, etc. have been planted by Ato Gaddisa and other local farmers in order to protect the natural resources of the area. On top of this, various types of grass have been planted to protect the soil from erosion. The grasses planted there have substituted the traditional stone bands. The altitude of the area is 1,600 meters above sea level. Ato Gaddisa tries to grow various types of crops, including those that grow in highlands. He says that Ansat is known to be a highland crop, however it grows up in 2 years and can be processed for food in 4 years, which needs 7 years to be harvested in highlands. Mango is one of the dominant fruit crops that grow in the area. Out of the 5 common varieties of mango, 3 are available here. They are called Kit, Tommy and Kent. These 3 varieties of mango are different both in fruit size and taste.
ይሄንን ኬንት ልጄ ናት ሳውዝ አፍሪካ ሄዳ ይዛ ይመጣችሁ
For I like mango very much. My daughter brought the seed of this mango along with its history. It is called Kent. We planted 2 mango trees. The other one has been brought from Upper Awash, and it is the one that is improved by Bako Agricultural Research Institute.
He closely watches the activities that are being carried out in Ambo Agricultural Research Center. The fact that his home is near his Ambo farm and the research center enabled him to continuously learn and make researches. He proved the productivity of the 2 varieties of maize, AMH 800, locally known as Argane Bakolo, and BH 660 or Bako hybrid, locally known as 660, by breeding them on a small piece of land on his farm. The local farmers also testify that particularly BH 600 maize is suitable for the agroecology of the area. Each variety has its own properties and taste. In Ato Gaddisa's farm, the productivity of Argane Bakolo can be reached between 70 and 90 quintals per hectare. Ato Gaddisa describes that sometimes the productivity may reach as high as 120 quintals per hectare. What did the local farmers learn from Ato Gaddisa's farm? The local farmers have got many opportunities to learn from Ato Gaddisa's farming culture. Their farm plots are near to that of Ato Gaddisa, even some of them share borders, and they are sometimes employed in Ato Gaddisa's farm. Some farmers visit Ato Gaddisa seeking his advice. But the question is, how much do the farmers try to exercise in their plots the lessons they learned from Ato Gaddisa? Ato Motuma Gaddisa lives in Sedenkite Kabele of Bako Tibbe Warada, that's near Dono farm.
Ato Gaddisa taught us a lot of things. He taught us how to cultivate and sow on time, how to use improved seeds, how to manage our soil and water, and he generally taught us farming. The soil here is stiff, hence he assists us by plowing our plots of land with his tractor. I consult him and ask for his advice. For example, last year he advised me to plant tomato, and I put his advice into practice and benefited a lot. I have learned a lot from his experience.
Anno Agro Industry, which is located in Gobusayo Warada of Eastern Wallagga Zone, an area where broad agricultural activities are conducted. The total area of the farm is 500 hectares and crop production, animal resource management and natural resources conservation activities are carried out. The shareholders of Anno Agro Industry, Ato Gaddisa Gobena, Dr. Benti Tolosa, Ato Takkala Abbatu, Dr. Tasfaye Kumsa Dinsa, and Ato Tasfaye Kumsa Ababora are friends of similar age groups and they have equal share of the firm. They are dedicated to deal with activities in Ethiopian agriculture that can be models to others. Conditions were not so comfortable at the time they came to invest in agriculture, particularly the plot of land, which is the major resource for agriculture and was a state farm previously, was a highly degraded one. They were not disappointed, rather, they began to exert every effort the land required to be restored. They left the land unplowed for 2 consecutive years and they planted various varieties of grass which are used for soil and water conservation. Gradually, everything became smooth and the land is covered with green leaves. One of the 5 shareholders, Ato Gaddisa Gobena, is administering the farm as per assigned by the other shareholders. The topography of the land is very steep slope, hence the shareholder decided to construct terraces to protect the soil from erosion. Around 260 kilometers contour terrace has been constructed with vetiver grass. The length of each terrace varies between 500 and 1000 meters. Construction of the terrace was completed in 8 years. The leaves of the grass are so sharp that cattle cannot eat it. Other animals like rodents and snakes cannot live in the grass because of its sharpness. Ato Gaddisa describes that oil is extracted from this type of grass in other countries. The fact that the grass doesn't break easily makes it unsuitable for reproduction of fleas and bugs, hence it's preferable for use as mattress filler. Ato Gaddisa says that additional 5 to 10 kilometers terrace will be constructed between those that are spaced wide apart. The main task in agro industry is production of improved seeds. All types of local crops are grown in the farm. However, production of improved maize seeds takes the major part. Legumes like pigeon pea and soybean are the next major crops grown there. The research continues on other crops like wheat, chickpea, lentil, and vegetables. People come to the farm from various regions to take improved seeds. What did the local farmers around Anno Agro Industry learn from this farm? Their proximity to the farm and the employment opportunity in the farm helped the farmers to directly participate in the activities. The question is, do they exercise what they learned from the farm in their plots? Ato Shufarag Itesa, manager of Anno Agro Industry, says the price for the improved seeds is fixed and known.
Peasants of this area have learned a lot, particularly they learn every year from this farm. We have come up with modern agricultural technologies from which the peasants can learn a lot. Every year in October, we tour around the farms. They put into practice soil and water conservation practices. They use vetiver grasses for terracing. They get improved seeds from us. They are thus benefited.
The crop rotation practice helps the land not to deplete its plant nutrients and minerals. Some crops increase fertility of the soil for the next cropping season by fixing nitrogen in the soil. This contributes a lot to the continuation of nitrogen cycle. In this farm, for example, in the plots where maize was grown last year, soybean will be planted for this cropping season and either millet or teff will be planted next year. Crops like maize, sorghum, teff, wheat and barley take minerals from the soil but they do not replenish the minerals, whereas legumes like bean, soybean, pigeon pea, chickpeas, etc. have the property of making the soil fertile. Therefore, rotating these crops, legumes with cereals, has paramount importance for keeping the soil fertile. On the other hand, if the land is tilled for a long period of time, then it should be left fallow for 1 year. Farmers with large plots of land can leave portions of their lands fallow. This practice is a custom in Anno Agro Industry. What is land fallowing?
Land becomes less productive through time like all other overused things. Hence it should be left unplowed for a certain time. Otherwise it will lose its fertility. When you leave a plot of land fallow, you can add some farm inputs. You can also allow your cattle to graze there, and they drop their dung on the land. Last year this land was sown with maize, and it has not been plowed since then. We did not burn the corn stems, we just left them there. The stems will decompose and serve as organic fertilizer. Then the plot will be like a virgin land.
A farm area may be cultivated repeatedly with fertilizers. However, excessive fertilizer may result in yield reduction. When crop productivity of a land decreases even with continued application of fertilizers, the land will be left fallow. Urea is a fertilizer which is completely consumed by crops, but DAP has residues after being used by plants which hampers the growth of crops. When a land is left fallow, grasses will grow there, taking up the residues of the DAP. The grass then can be used as fodder for cattle, as means of protecting erosion and for improving soil fertility. The local farmers in Anno area have got these lessons and other benefits. The natural resources conservation practices in Anno Agro Industry include both terracing and planting trees. The plantation activity was started with the establishment of the firm, and it contributes to consistent balance of the ecosystem. There are different types of trees planted in the farm, dominated by local ones including acacia, cortium, vernonia, ficus and others. They don't want to plant eucalyptus, for it may affect the growth of other crops in the farm. In addition to these forest trees, there is coffee nursery and coffee plantation in the farm. Moreover, in the area which once was a bare land has become habitat for some wildlife. Due to the forest trees and soil conservation structures, a spring which was vanished previously has been replenished. The runoff generated by heavy precipitation has reduced by virtue of the plantation, and much of the rainfall percolates into the ground and recharges the spring. The spring's discharge may decrease during dry seasons, but never dies out. There is a plan by the firm to store the spring water in a small reservoir and pump it up to irrigate the upper land of the farm area. The coffee seedlings in the nursery have not yet been taken by anyone, and they are stocked there. If the farmers want to take coffee seedlings, the firm is ready to provide them for free. The productivity of coffee varies for different years, and it's between 20 and 40 quintals per hectare. Sometimes the green coffee may yield as high as 60 quintals per hectare. Previously, there was no coffee plantation in the area. Hence, Ato Gaddisa began to grow it. The local farmers were doubtful that he may not be successful. The local farmers plant only the improved seeds which are tried on the agro-industry and prove to be successful. A number of local farmers participate in agro-industry, being employed for short terms. This has maximized the employment opportunity in the area. Particularly, participation of women in the farm is very high. Ato Shifarro Qixxeessaa, the farm's manager, confirms that the women have more devotion and diligence to participate in the activities.
This land is 52 hectares and many laborers work on it. Currently, more than 350 people are working on the land. As you can see, here most of the workers are women, and most of them are students and people who came from urban areas. This farm has created employment opportunities, hence a number of people are working here.
Anno agro-industry can be considered as a school to the local farmers, where they earn practical knowledge about the agricultural activities. How does the follow-up by the experts of the Warada's agricultural office look? What are the benefits of the agro-industry gives to the local farmers? Ato Dagafa Tola, administrator of Gobbu Sayu Warada.
It is very recently that the Warada administration is authorized to deal with investment issues. Previously, it was handled by the zonal administration. Anyway, we have observed that the farmers are learning from the farm. We are following it up. They are supplying improved seeds. I believe that besides participating in the seed reproduction activity, the farmers have learned a lot. They have learned the benefits of the seeds, and they saw them in their farm plots. Not only farmers of this area, but also those from far areas are also benefiting from this.
A great deal of activity is being conducted in the agro-industry in breeding of cows, swine husbandry and apiculture. The dairy farm is conducted as subsidiary to the crop production. Temporary barns or shades are relocated and reinstalled every 4 days. It is very inspiring to see how the cows and their calves were yearning to meet when they are brought together every morning. The calves are suckled by their mothers, which make them healthy. The cows are not milked. The milk is always reserved only for the calves. The calves are hybrids of 100% Holstein bulls and 100% local Horo Guduru cow. As a result, they are 50% Holstein. The heifers, which are 50% Holstein, will be made with 100% pure Holstein breed, which have no genetic relation with their father. This breeding effort helps to get 75% Holstein calves. Care is always taken so that the cows will not be made by bulls of their family. Unhealthy calves may be born otherwise. Ato Gaddisa comments that in Ethiopia, animal resource management is not supported with scientific approaches and not given sufficient emphasis.
Until now, animal husbandry has not been given due attention in Ethiopia. Always, crop production has been given a lot of attention. We stand first in Africa in livestock population, However, we are among the poorest in livestock quality. A Holstein bull of good breed is better than 10 local breed cattle. We will be highly benefited if we properly deal with livestock husbandry. Our economy will grow and our living standard will be improved.
Speaking of his experience overseas, Ato Gaddisa says that caring for animals is not any less than caring for human beings, especially the care given to animals in other countries is incomparable to that of our country. In our country, it's believed to be sufficient if the cattle are kept in the field. The cattle of Anno agro industry have ear tags which help to identify one from the other. The history of each cow is recorded and follow-ups are conducted accordingly. These Holstein breeds are not older than 4 years. They are not required to be weightier than they are now because they can't move freely with more weight. The center supplies milk and 50 to 75% Holstein bred heifers to the local people. What system do they have to supply heifers? The agro-industry deals with swine husbandry in addition to the dairy farm. The pigs feed on anything available, particularly crop byproducts. They eat ideally anything, including mud, and hence keep their surroundings clean. A pig gives around 16 offspring in a single birth. Their manure is used as organic fertilizer. Their ham is highly marketable. Generally, they are very important for integrated agricultural practices. Apiculture is one of the activities in the agro-industry. There are 100 beehives in the farm, 70 of which have already begun to give honey. The beehives are placed in the forest area of the agro-industry, which is sufficiently far from the cow barns. There is a plan to replace the hives with modern ones. Among the local people, there are some who practice wrong way of bee husbandry. In the agro-industry, sufficient care is being taken to avoid ants and spiders, which are the worst enemies of bees. Gaddisa has managed to be successful in his endeavor of integrated agriculture. Among his accomplishments are, he reclaimed the degraded land with terracing and planting trees, he dealt with crop production activities, and he introduced animal husbandry activities. The outcomes of all his efforts can be good lessons to the local farmers.
Neither the farmers nor the educated people want to intervene in agricultural activities. The educated want to work in office wearing suits and a necktie. This wrong thinking should be changed. If the educated were involved in agriculture and others were provided with social security, the country would develop and would bring down the percentage of the farming population from 85% to 50%. The educated who are residing in towns should involve in agricultural activities. The actual work is in rural areas, while the educated are living in large towns. This should be changed.
Ato Gaddisa, being a diligent farmer, an agricultural expert, an instructor and an investor, did a lot towards the improvement of the country's agricultural activities, which can be lessons to millions of people. He is renowned for being industrious farmer. Consequently, he has got several awards. The Oromia Regional State has awarded him for his outstanding achievements in agricultural investment. How much has local farmers and agricultural experts learned from him? Ato Degafatola is administrator of Kobusayo Warada, East Wallagga Zone.
The community is well aware that Ato Gaddisa is a hard-working farmer. Many people are working with him and hence they know him well. There are people who are fully employed in the farm of Ato Gaddisa and other shareholders. Many people both in village and from far away know him, and he trains a number of farmers. The services he renders to poor farmers cannot be overlooked. Both women and men are participating in the activities. He has been awarded by the Oromia Regional State for his great contribution to agriculture. The strength we observed in him is amazing. He is not selfish, he is generous. The village's secondary school had no plot for demonstration of farm activities. He gave the school a piece of land from his farmland. This is a very great contribution. He is cooperative in any activity that is meant to benefit the community. He handles everything with great patience.
Ato Getachew Welde, a diligent farmer and investor in agriculture, verifies Ato Gaddisa's efforts and works. Ato Getachew is dealing with activities in Tukuruha area near Waldia of North Wello zone of the Amhara regional state, which can be lessons to millions of people. He is Ato Gaddisa's customer and buys improved seeds from him. They know one another through professional relationships.
What I want to tell about him is that he is diligent. His intervention area is broad and it is beneficial to the community. I am used to speak about his wonderful activities wherever I go. His works on improved seeds is highly appreciable. I provide information on his works to farmers so that they make use of it. I have found out that he is dealing with exemplary activities. He is a modern farmer who knows a lot about the world.
Why do you regret for the local people have not changed to the extent you assisted or taught them?
The farmers have not planted enough trees, not reared cattle, and they have not strived to prevent soil erosion. Of course, there are some farmers who tried a bit, but it's not yet enough. When I advise them to involve in cattle husbandry, some farmers argue that they can't afford to feed them. They compare the amount of fodder eaten by the cattle to that of pigs, but they don't even feed the pigs properly. A pig eats whatever it gets, even mud. Rather, a cow may eat tenfold of what a pig eats. The difference is that pig is monogastric animal. It doesn't ruminate like ruminants. Even hens don't stop eating grains unless there is no supply. Some peasants base on wrong information, hence they don't work or don't let others work either.
Everyone needs support so that all these efforts can continue and be realized. How far do his families, particularly his children, support Ato Gaddisa towards the success of his efforts? Biftu Gaddisa, a son of Ato Gaddisa, is diploma holder in 2 disciplines, namely accounting and computer science. He is the star actor in his father's business in integrated agriculture. He plans to upgrade his activities to mechanized farming.
I am participating in activities and follow up the activities on daily basis. Others are involved in private business and we have planned to work together in the future. I am participating in the operation and maintenance of machines. In addition, I serve in mechanized farming. Moreover, I am serving as a mechanic and also as an accountant to the firm.
Ato Gaddisa and shareholders are committed to deal with large-scale agriculture using their Anno agro-industry as nucleus for their business. From Ato Gaddisa and the shareholders, we can learn to implement the basic components of investment in agriculture, which include integrated agriculture combined with natural resources development and conservation, teaching and supporting local farmers, and unreserved participation of family members in the activities.